Ya, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kita mulai saja. Let's we start our short Zoom class. Today we will discuss about the conversation is communication. So in this topic, we will use any or perhaps many perspective to discuss about the conversation, not only based on the English study, but we can explore it based on the communication with specific perhaps for the PR broadcasting and many other perspective. Why the conversation is really important? Because the conversation is the soul of communication. Why we need the conversation? Because when we talk in communication, we just not only one way communication. The one way communication is just the communication with ourselves, but we need the other people. We need many people. We need perhaps two or three people, and we need community to talk and to build the conversation. So conversation is the not only based on the interpersonal communication, but is can be a route and can be solved for the community communication, organizational communication, and the public communication. So when the people have the good in public speaking, have the excellent in monologue, excellent in persuasion, so they also have the capability and perhaps a skill to build a good conversation. So what is the conversation? And when based on the theory of Gerard and Ambler in 1992 state the communication is best achieved through a simple planning and control in order to look at approach that might help you do this specific in meeting where conversation is particular care. So based on this definition, so when we do in the conversation with the other people, so we need a planning. We need beside the planning also in the action of the conversation, we need to control. So in the control is not only just the topic, yeah, not only just the topic, but the language, in the formality, informality, the goals, and only just joke or humor, or perhaps you can inserting perhaps gossip of talking about the popular issue or anything else. So planning is also can be useful for the many element many perhaps in many cases in conversation, not only just informal conversation with your boss, with your teacher, with your lecturer, or perhaps with your customer, with your investor, not only just like the formal conversation, but you also have a plan to make a good conversation with your friend, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or perhaps your parent. Because when you have the plan, the planning is not just always you when write in a book as you can plan write in the text, but your plan is just in your mind and in your heart what you want to talking about. When you have the mind, when you have the plan, so you have a perhaps a good conversation. Why we need a control in conversation? When we need a control in conversation is not only just approach, but the control is you can use your voice, the good voice, not only voice like from coming sound coming from your mouth, not only like that, but the voice is telling about the diction, the structure, the sentence, the perhaps the perhaps you can use the past tense, perhaps in English past tense, or perhaps you can use the present tense, perfect, present perfect, or perhaps the future tense. So the control is can be uh, positioning you are be a better person in good communicator. Perhaps when you controlling the situation, you can handle. You are a leader in conversation. You not just the control of the conversation, but you can give your partner to giving sharing, giving opinion, so giving space and giving time to they will speak. So you are not dominate. It's about the control. How about the tone? Tone is kind is kind about, sorry, this is any distraction from sound from the member. How about the tone? The tone is the telling about how you can be a manner person. Manner person is you also need to understand about the ethic when speak to the people. When you speak to the older people, perhaps you have give the respect, not only just for your body, not only like that, like for Japanese or the Korean, but you should be perhaps the lower intonation, the manner people. Also, you can focus on how you can be a good person and in the right time, in the right place. When you do, when you face the investor, when you talk about the director on many perhaps high people in high structure, you should be not only just be the audience, but you just be a partner. We speak confidently and speak appropriately and proportionally. Why we need proportionally when we speak, when you speak proportionally, you not talking about too much and you're not talking about the less, but you talking when you need it and when people needed your conversation. So communication, when you will be do success in conversation, so you will be have a plan and so you should be control the conversation. How about the how about the conversation, the element of conversation according to McGregor. This is the famous theory about the conversation in English study and in the communication. Firstly, a verbal message, itu pesan verbal. When you talk to the other, when you talk to your friend, you has should be have the message. When you have the message, it's not only just asking the question, but you also giving giving the message from yourself uh, to the other. Perhaps the question, what do you like movie to watch in the cinema? Ya kan? Your friend said, "Oh, Avatar, it is the good movie." No, no, I don't think it's so. So, in my opinion, the good movie for me is perhaps not the Avatar, the animation movie like apa? I not animation, but Indonesian movies. The perhaps the Agak Lain. Agak Lain is the best Indonesian movie which many people watching and giving apa be the most viewed movie in Indonesia. I think you should be watch it. So in the verbal communication, in the conversation, in this perhaps in dialogue, you so also give the feedback, not only just a question about the organization speech episode in the participant role. It's about how you can give like as a before, you can give a change to your friend about what is the space and giving them the space, giving them time to speech. So you are not one man, so you are not the dominating the conversation. The other is content organization and verbal exchange is about the content. So the content is not boring or a static issue, but you can perhaps change the topic from the hot topic, from the cold topic, and many discussing. So you can have the not in the cold situation, but you have in the hot situation. The others categorization of speech answer must be answered define the status of conversation. Though the status in conversation is can be defined by the formal, not formal. You speak with your friend or you speak with the higher status or anything else. So the element or conversation also can be differ based on the context, based on the location, based on the who are the speaking, based on many other elements. The next, we are moved to the digital communication. Conversation is or computation. We know when we talk to the AI, when we talk to perhaps in the live chat, there are the when when we do the conversation, the partner is not the human, the partner is a machine. Perhaps according to Enrico Coira, dynamic communication between human also improve the way how the design information system have the modeling to copy and imitate the common ground between the system and human error. So, sorry, bukan, sorry, not the human error, but the human user. So when we speak to the machine, when to speak to the AI, so we also have the understanding the language of the AI. The language of AI, perhaps when you do the prompt, when you to write the prompt in AI, Gemini, ChatGPT, or anything, you should be uh, do in question, yeah, in question sentence. In the question sentence, when you do when you write the prompt, also you make perhaps the clear conversation, yeah? So you avoiding misunderstanding, miscommunication. So for the clear communication, complete communication, and detail the communication, so in the machine learning or the AI can answer in detail also, and uh, support your question. Then when you talk to the AI, like or perhaps machine learning and ChatGPT and the Perplexity, you also be in conversational tone. You just not only about the explanation, description, or anything, but the tone is conversation. A conversation is asking, but you also give the explanation and description, so not only the definition. So you should be uh, do or the better expert in competition, because you have better in conversation. So based on the theory I will discuss in conversation in discourse analysis, yeah. Perhaps when you want to study upon the discourse analysis is the part of the study of the communication. According Susan Floriro, discourse analysis in converse above discuss focusing in conversation using the understanding and using spoken language system. The spoken language system is given with the written language system. When we use write English, you have perhaps any rules like grammars, perhaps the punctuation, spelling, and many other rules. But in spoken language system, the focus is understanding. The focus when you speak, yeah, with the grammar, the good grammar, but what your partner is not understanding is becoming, ya kan, is becoming not a good in situation. So repertoire occurring paralinguistic non-verbal behavior also can be support in your conversation with your partner. The other is social context. Yeah, social context. In social context, you also know when you speak with the Sundanese, when you speak the Japanese, perhaps when you speak the Japanese, there are any difference. Perhaps when I speak with my friend from Batak, it is I also have the uh, perhaps the repair the position, because the Batak people have the strong language and they have the strong characteristics. So we must have perhaps make a proper to in suitable situation when the people to the other people for people with the other people based on the social context. And the other, interpreting appropriate conversational behavior. When we do conversation, we will do conversation, or we will do conversation. There are any conversation behavior in the behavior. There are any attitude, ya kan? Attitude of the people, behavior of the people. You should focus on, because in conversation you just not only spoken on giving the message, but there are any body language and many others. The last is managing conversation ensemble, improvisation, negotiation. When we do conversation with one person or two person, 3%, it can be like orchestra. It can be like a concert. When you do in the concert, ya kan? When you do in the concert, it can be a memorable moment. It can be a useful moment, not only just perhaps in ribah moment, not only like that. How about the next theory about conversation? There are garden path. Garden path is about conversational theory. Is the popular theory for the in learning system. For the teacher and apa teacher and the student, lecturer and the student. So there are any three level interaction. Interaction share modeling facility. So there are any model we can use. The model is like discussion. The model is just role playing. The model is just explanation or question and answer. Perhaps the next is interaction is share model. Apa? The next conversation interaction how to solve the problem. Solve the problem. When we do in the meeting, like in the corporate, in the institution, when we meet and conversation also to solve the problem. In the solve problem, so we need to speak about, in my opinion, how about your opinion, and anything else. Our conversation is about the method used, why that the method should to be. The in conversation is you can develop the many method and to develop the conversation to be a better and to be interesting. About the digital conversation, like in when we have a posting, and when perhaps when we work in social media strategies, you answering the comment, the question in the social media status, in the social media, so there are any next step of the conversation is the engagement. So conversation can be measured by the conversation metric. Engagement also can be measured, can be should be a engagement metric. So like a conversation in daily life, in the real life, conversation in digital should be a joy and memory. Kedung Aziz Kumar Patak in 2005. So in my suggestion, if you want to explore about the English for Everyone, you should buy perhaps English 900. English 900 is in the book, yeah, in the e-commerce. You should speak it perhaps repeatedly many times, 3 times, 4 times. Again. How do you do? How do you do? I work for the company. How do you do? I work for the company. You repeat it many times. Repeat it many times in the book. Again, you read a lot. You can read English conversation. It is the famous book in the international student. When you get the scholarship in the what you in the overseas, you can buy the English Nana. That is the book which can be speak by the native speaker. The next, and you also use explore in AI. You can speak with many applications AI which give you some conversation, and so you can support your English fluency. So my best English practice, the English speaking about English conversation, just habit. Then when you love the movie, don't forget, pause your movie and repeat the conversation of the dialogue of your actor. Then be crazy. Why to be crazy? When you want to speak the conversation, talk to yourself in front of, talk to yourself in a camera. If you have a confident, don't worry, be online. Yeah? Be online, like the just monologue, the role play, and anything. But the English conversation also can be drills by the time, because when you speak and when you do conversation is about the process, not about the outcome. Six is sing song, when you just when you listening music in YouTube, not only just listening, but you can sing it, and sing it loudly, sing it loudly. It make your good pronunciation and the spelling is can be correctly better. Then you can join the community offline or online with English communication or any English. You can set up or build up English communication in your college, or you can join the debate communication. And the other A, you should read the novel. Read novel loudly, English novel or anything else. Ya, terima kasih banyak. Saya juga sudah melihat apa untuk UASnya. Terima kasih banyak yang sudah mengumpulkan. Beberapa ada yang dapat nilai sempurna 100 dan beberapa ya ada yang bagus lah 90 dan range sebagainya. Terima kasih banyak. Mungkin ada pertanyaan yang berkaitan dengan conversation. Ya, jika tidak ada, saya tutup
Bapak mau
aja.
nanya,
Ya, silakan, silakan.
untuk PPT yang ini apakah ada tugas, Pak?
Nggak ada, nggak ada. Udah tugas terakhirnya yang kemarin itu aja.
Berarti sampai pertemuan yang terakhir minggu depan juga
Nggak
tugas
ada.
yang itu yang terakhir.
Iya, sama tugasnya yang UAS itu aja.
Terima
Jadi
kasih, Bapak.
tidak ada tugas lagi. Itu kan untuk biar nilainya biar saya cicil untuk lebih ini. Jadi tugasnya lebih awal. Jadi tidak bentrok dengan tugas-tugas lainnya gitu. Mungkin ada pertanyaan lainnya? Jika tidak ada, saya tutup aja. Terima kasih banyak. Selamat siang. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.